Budd Mackenzie is the founder of a Bay Area-based nonprofit. It's called Trust in Education. That group works to build schools in villages in war-torn Afghanistan. And he joins me now to talk about how villagers are reacting to this new violence. Thanks for coming. Always good to see you. We've talked before about what conditions are like in Afghanistan in light of the fact that the military is pulling out. But now we've had a couple of controversial issues spread across the area as well. How's that impacting what you and your people do in Afghanistan?
Well, I'm going to go again. This will be my 15th visit over the last 7 years. And I'm being told by the Afghans who work for us that as long as I stay between the hotel and our office, I'll be okay. And a lot of the NGOs over there are basically on lockdown. They can't go anywhere. We have 40,000 meals, the equivalent of 40,000 meals that's sitting at the airport in Kabul, that they're just afraid to let us pick up. We've already distributed 80,000, but we've got 40,000 more to go. What's
the biggest threat? Is it the Taliban? Is it some kind of retaliation for what happened in terms of the military? What's your biggest threat and why you cannot deliver this aid to other people?
Well, the latest incident, of course, has rallied the country and particularly the extremists and those who want to martyr themselves. And one of the problems now, the practical problems for the NGOs is they're finding, and the military is finding, people who have been working with them before are taking actions themselves. So it becomes an issue of who do you trust, because these are people that have been working inside who have taken actions themselves, and now the question is, can you trust the person who's working next to you?
Do you feel safe going this time? I mean, every time we talked to you last time and you were going to go, a little bit concerned about how security was changing, but you went and came back. It seems like every time the stakes are a little bit higher and the trip is a little more difficult.
Yeah, my movement's a little more restricted, yeah. But I've been there so many times and I've never had anybody yell at me. I've never had any attempts on my life. When people realize what I'm doing, they have this gesture of putting the hand over the heart. I get this all the time. So what I've learned sort of being in a war zone is life just goes on. It just goes on. And yes, you're aware of there being a danger, but it doesn't overwhelm you, let's put it that way.
What do you think is going to happen long term for your group? Because eventually the U.S. military will be out, and I don't know if that, under the circumstances, is a good thing or a bad thing for you long term.
Right. I think for us, because we're a grassroots people-to-people organization, when I'm in Afghanistan, see, I'm not military, I'm not government, I'm not in the business of providing aid. So I represent a bunch of families in the United States who care about them. That's a real unencumbered message. I think we're going to be able to continue to operate in the country.
And tell me a little bit about, speaking of that Bay Area connection, I know you've been working with some school kids are involved, and they have connections. From time to time, I know you do paintings and drawings for the children there, and then they do reciprocate back, and the reason you do that is because nobody can speak the language, but if you can make a picture that they can understand, you can do that. Right. So now you've kind of got a new way for kids in the Bay Area to really connect and understand the meaning of this.
There's several schools now who are not just going home and bringing back change from mom and dad, because I started saying no more change from mom and dad. You've got to earn it. And there are several schools now that are going out and actually earning the funds to support street children. They're getting Afghan street children off the streets and into school. And it's amazing. When I started saying no more money for mom and dad, they've really stepped up. They have been out there earning the money.
And that's been kind of your catchphrase now, earn it.
Earn it. You got to earn it. No more bringing in money for mom and dad. And there was one young boy who raised his hand. He says, "Can I use my allowance?" And I said, "Did you earn it?" And he went, he knew he had to go out and earn it.
But a great gesture nonetheless. Yeah. Well, Bud, we always appreciate you checking in and telling us the latest, especially in light of the changing scenario over in Afghanistan. We wish you continued good luck over there.
Thank you, Brent. My pleasure.
And good to come by and tell us your story.